West Virginia just a day away to hear about some of these guys, but West Virginia's got a former Buckeye. They've got a former Tech Hokie. A lot of other guys they're checking out here that are possibly flippable. So let's check them out, talk about who they are.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia, where we're diving into some football recruiting tonight. Hopefully you guys are having a great night here on the channel, guys. I appreciate your time as always. As you guys just do an awesome job, man, just keeping me grounded every single day. So I thank you for that. This episode is going to be brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, y'all. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. Yeah, we've had a couple of decommitments today. Don't worry. Somebody in the comments said Keon Hutchins decommitted, another one decommitted. What's his name? Hold on, I'll tell you his name. Amari Peterson, he decommitted as well. You know, so anytime you're at the tail end of the recruiting cycle like this, you're going to see that, whether it's West Virginia moving on from certain recruits and pulling the scholarship, or whether it's a better offer for somebody. This is going to happen this time of year. I would imagine you could see these as both as positive signs, because there was really no reason for these guys to decommit. Just my personal opinion, especially Hutchins' situation, which would lead to potentially, because JUCO is basically high school. This is the way it's looked at, even though there's a little more experience there. You know, if you can get a high school guy with a high ceiling like we're going to talk about today, then you'll go that route most times, you know, than others. So we're going to do that. We'll talk about them, exactly who we're talking about, and all that kind of stuff. So if you're not familiar, West Virginia has 3 guys I'm going to talk about today. There is more. It's just that I can only fit so many into one show. So for the most part, let's dive into the first guy. So Zaevion Cleveland is a guy who is a corner / safety. He's from Virginia. He's been committed to Virginia Tech, I believe, for a while now, or he's committed to Virginia Tech and is thinking about flipping. That's right. And he's ranked as the number 2 corner in Virginia, rated as a pretty high 3-star. He's really close to that 4-star line. He runs a 4.4 40-yard dash, according to things I read about him. He has a long and lanky frame, and he has really good reach. He is a third-year player in high school right now. He did start late because he was focusing on basketball initially, from what he told me. So he's still developing, but he has really high upside due to raw athleticism. He just sent me a message while I'm live. He said, "Morgantown, how we feeling?" Seriously, we're live right now. He just sent me a message. So he said, "Morgantown, how we feeling?" So I guess you guys can reply to that if you want to. But yeah, so I should probably send him the link for it so he knows. But, you know, he's one of these kids that, at least in my opinion, Zach Alley really wants, because he's got the length, he's got the size, he's got a lot of the athleticism that you want. And I'm not just saying that. Like, he really does. He's got almost everything you could ask for in a big-time corner. So I'm going to send him this now, talking about you now. Okay. Sent that. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, anyways, so let's get back into the breakdown for him, though, because we still have a little bit to go through. So his height is somewhere between 6'3" and 6'4". He's right around 180, 187. You know, he's on 247, an 89 rated player. If you look at the composite, he's right around 88, which you're just splitting hairs once you get to there. He committed to Virginia Tech on June 22nd, which was after official visits to Syracuse and Virginia. So he would have been the 6th commit in Virginia Tech's 2026 class. But as we know, they brought in James Franklin to stuff now too. So things are kind of shuffled up there. His recruitment is fluid, but he will be making a decision probably tomorrow, I believe. I thought somebody sent me something about that. I know he's making one soon. I don't know if he's the one. One of these guys are making their decision tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that, obviously. But he was an elite basketball player. And if you go look at his highlights, this kid is a dunker, man. He can really get up there. And, he can just about bang his head off the rim. I love that. The athleticism. You need that in a corner. It shows up on tape when you watch him as well. If you look at, he's also is a good receiver. Like, I really like the receiving portion of his game as well that I watched. So his strengths are this. He's got exceptional length, right? At 6'3", 6'4". He's got exceptional athleticism, but he can dunk, bang his head off the rim, which allow him to excel in press man coverage because of that length. He disrupts passes within his reach fairly easily, and he's versatile in the secondary. I would say he has a quote-unquote diversified portfolio within the secondary. He can play corner. He can play safety. He has high upside. Due to that basketball background, he has quick feet. He's explosive, like I said, and the vertical leap part of this is a big deal, especially when you get into contested catch situations. First team all-region while a junior, playing both sides of the ball. But, I mean, he's better on the defensive side, and what a strong tackler in the open field he is. If you're going to talk about some weaknesses, he's a little raw due to the limited football experience. He's only in his 3rd year. It's not something he's done his whole life, but that means also less wear and tear on the body. He probably needs to add a little bit of weight in the weight room. He's lanky. But sometimes those guys are really strong, what my dad used to call wiry strong. But this is a very strong pickup. He would slot in right behind Vincent Smith, probably. He's right there at the same level, if you're asking me, as Vincent Smith, who's a 4-star. I would say he's right there on that same line. And he has potential to rise in the rankings during his senior year, if you want. So I just think that he is a really good player, guys. I mean, that's really what it comes down to for him. He is the kind of player that if you put him out in a Zach Alley defense, he's going to play really well. And just think about it. Zach Alley really needs these kind of players, especially in this defense. The longer, the lankier you are, the better. So hopefully he can come in. Hopefully we get him this week, or tomorrow, and that we go from there. Now for the big one. Not that he wasn't a big one there, but obviously the Ohio State wide receiver that a lot of people probably didn't see coming in Jeaden Ricketts, but he is a 4-star player. 6 feet, 187, 190, class of 2026, so he would be playing next year. He plays DB and wide out, but he would be a wide receiver here. He is a really good player, guys. 4.37 in the 40, and it looks like it. He's a 10.88 100 meters, which is just freaking smoking fast. He runs a 4.29 in the shuttle. He runs a 22-second 200-meter yard dash, and he is explosive, guys. That track background is absolutely on display when you watch him play. So he committed to Ohio State on November 16th. He was the second receiver for their 2026 class with Chris Henry. But West Virginia is obviously attempting the flip here. If you're reading the tea leaves, you would probably say Keon Hutchins decommit is this very strong sign, but it could also mean another player, right? He is a multi-sport elite track spinner, as we said. He finished 4th at the OSHA DA or D1s in the 100-meter. That's really good, guys. Division I high school track, football, whatever you want to talk about, is really good. You're talking about 5,000, 6,000, sometimes 7,000 students at some schools are really big. D1, D2 in Ohio is good football. Obviously, it's in the top 5 or 8 in the country. just once you get outside of California, Georgia, Florida, some other southern places down south, sometimes, but they're always hovering in that top 10 somewhere. So Ohio, which is why Ohio State is always really good, obviously. So, I'm sure Ohio State's probably working in some other players as well, and maybe he's somebody that is on their chopping block. I'm not really sure. I don't know how badly Ohio State's trying to keep him or not, to be honest. But here's his strengths. He's got elite speed. That's it. I mean, he's got it. He would probably walk in and be right there with one of our 2 or 3 fastest players on the team next year due to that track background. And he is a savvy route runner with strong hands, man. He stems well once he comes out, and he stems well to create windows as well. You see him a lot on tape. He comes out, he stems, and he's already in another window. So, he's almost 200 pounds, by the way. So he creates mismatches in the slot. He understands space, too. When you watch him, he really recognizes his surroundings. Reminds me of that play from DJ Thomas from a couple games ago where it looked like he just knew where he was at on the floor really well and made nice plays out of it. Similar kind of feeling when you get to watching this kid here. He just has it's just like a quarterback that can feel the rush coming from behind, even though he's not looking at it. Receivers have that too with zone coverage and press man or what have you. So, Brian Hartline's eye for talent, guys, suggests this is probably a potential pro player. Just my personal opinion. Brian Hartline has shown he don't miss. They don't miss often. So the fact that Hartline reached out has to give you just the ultimate confidence in this player. And if you look at his official visits, he's taken 11, including Ohio State. He's taken West Virginia, Illinois, Indiana, and some others. So G5. But, I mean, Ohio State, West Virginia, Illinois, Indiana, all in the same little area. Looks like he maybe wants to stay closer to home based on the other places that he went to. And this is a player that West Virginia could absolutely use. So we go to break on that note. But, I think this would be maybe outside of Kevin, the crown jewel of the class. If you pull this one in, I mean, he's a big one, along with a couple others. So this recruiting class continues to get stronger and stronger potentially. We got one more guy to get to next. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Game Time. When it comes to Game Time, the World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams to be for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. Let's be honest. Getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why with the GameStop app is clutch. Finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagger seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time. You can get real alerts when the seats open for you, and you can buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It basically puts the power back in your hands and makes the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You pull up the app, and the layout makes it so simple to scroll through matchups and basically compare seat views. Pick a game, tap a section, and have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for fine print. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets in every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase where the terms apply. Again, that's download the app, make an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go Game Time today and find out the answer to the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. It's segment 2. Let's crack open the dew. All right. So hopefully you guys are having a good day. I saw that Chaz in the chat. He says Kentucky firing Stoops Brown to UK. That would be interesting if it happened. Absolutely. Would love to cover that if it did. It would obviously be good for West Virginia. It's probably worth speculation, but I don't know if Kentucky can get away with hiring him. based on how Neil finished here. It wasn't good. Their fans wouldn't be happy, But I would say with this, I would say it would probably mean, in my opinion, I would say you would have to look at there's really one guy that's going to be getting a job over Brown, and you guys know who that is. So, I mean, it's been speculated upon for a while now. So I would imagine, and I could be wrong, but John Summerall is probably the guy there now, unless he's got another. Oh yeah, he went to Florida earlier, didn't he? I totally forgot. I wonder if that's why Kentucky waited to. I don't know. If you're Kentucky, I mean, you would think you had a chance at Summerall, based on the history. It's been noted for a long time that Kentucky's a place he would have chose some jobs over. I don't know, but Neil Brown could probably do well there, I would imagine. I don't have any clue. I don't have any clue whether or not their NIL situation is something that Neil could manage. Would it be another West Virginia situation for him? Because if there's one situation I can admit with Neil, it's that he didn't get the NIL support Rich Rod's about to get, right? The full, so I get that 100%. And I think I would be interested in seeing what Neil Brown could do with a full rev share situation. But he would need money outside the cap as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. We got one more player to get to, though, guys. And sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting on this. But it's Mathieu Lamah is the name. I broke him down the other day a little bit. So we're going to get back into him now again. And if I can get back to there it is. So he is another Virginia kid, 2026, 6'3", 230 pounds. Big body linebacker. So this is exactly what Zach Alley and company need at the linebacker spot. A guy like Josiah Trotter, which we lost, or even Trey Lathan to an extent. You need bigger players in this, if you want to run the style of defense that Zach Alley wants to run, so where you can have heavy run stopping packages, you can have NASCAR packages, you can flippity dippity do all the way through different all the way through different packages and all. And this kid has got some athleticism too. So he's not just a big downhill type linebacker. He does have some side to side in him. Now I wouldn't consider him an elite speed, but he's been committed to Penn State. So there has to be something said for that. There's a reason he was at Penn State, right? So West Virginia's got another shot here. This is a guy that played at Patriot High School, 3 or 4 star, depending on where you look. So, he's a top 20 player in the state of Virginia, top 70 linebacker nationally, according to 247. If you look at the composite, it has him way higher up, a top 40 linebacker and number 13 overall in Virginia. Scouting grade on ESPN has him at an 80. So, one outlier source claims him to be a 5-star, by the way. I don't know if that's I have no clue with that. I don't know if it's a mistake or if it's erroneous. I have no clue, but he is college ready. I think he's ready to come in. He's got a high motor. He's got good speed. He's not elite speed, but he's got good speed. He had a 3.5 GPA. He committed to Penn State on May 5th. Yeah, he reopened it on the October 15th after James Franklin situation, I believe. And then it has November 30th, which is today. His top schools are Rutgers, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. The decision will come tomorrow, so he's the one. Okay. Tomorrow's December 1st, and he will make a decision tomorrow. So I would imagine that he's probably leaning away from Penn State. So just imagine he's probably going to end up at West Virginia or Rutgers, as my friend used to say. If he goes to Rutgers, there might be pandemonium in Piscataway. You guys remember that field goal they made? I think it was to beat South Florida or somebody. I can't remember who it was, but they had a huge kick in a game, and the announcer had the most awesome call. It's pandemonium in Piscataway. And Piscataway is such a cool name. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Kind of reminds me of spaghetti. Piscataway. I don't know. It's just don't pay attention to me. All right. So his athletic background, by the way, district champs. He in the biggest rivalry game they were in, he told me that he had 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack and a forced fumble. So that's pretty cool. He did send me his week 1 through 7 film a couple of days ago, and it's good, very good film. He had 87 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. First team all district defensive player of the year. So he's got it all. If you look at his strengths, like I said, high motor player, which is very, very attractive to West Virginia, who plays sideline to sideline for the most part. Although I do want to see him do it at the college level as far as being sideline to sideline. I'm not saying he's slow by any means, but I didn't see elite speed on him or really good speed even. I thought he was just good. But maybe it's just me as a like I say all the time, just my personal opinion. So it probably means nothing. He's already near college weight. If you look at his size, 6'3", 230 pounds. I mean, you really don't want to play with that too much unless you want to turn him into a downhill tank. And he's versatile enough to play middle linebacker and outside linebacker, and he is a strong tackler. So if you look at his weaknesses, I think he may need to improve his coverage skills in like pass heavy offenses. And the one thing I saw one scout put out was the conference he plays in is a run heavy league, and he didn't have to face pass heavy packages a whole lot in his career. So did he really refine that? I don't know. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't really get a chance to study that myself, but I'm going to repeat it. Somebody else said it. So I think at the end of the day, this is a power 4 linebacker with potential to be better. He's a high motor type, obviously, like we said, and he was at the end of the day recruited by Linebacker U, which is Penn State, right? So you have to be excited about that. He had 21 offers. So, I mean, you're talking about Rutgers, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Penn State. He could have went anywhere he wanted. For West Virginia to have a shot at him here late is a big deal. And I think we do have a great shot to get him. I'd be surprised if we didn't win over Rutgers. But once again, Rutgers has got some money too. They do. I mean, they're gonna. I'd say whoever thinks this kid, whoever believes in him the most, will probably get him. I would imagine, unless he just likes one over the other. You wouldn't think that you would like Rutgers over West Virginia, but Rutgers is probably a nicer area to live in for somebody from the city. Although I've never been to Piscataway, I imagine it's probably a little bit more to do than Morgantown. Morgantown's more of a college campus. So is Rutgers, but Rutgers is bigger, obviously. So just some thoughts. Oh, man. Following Franklin to Virginia Tech is definitely an option. And I would imagine definitely an option too. I'll go look up the article. There's an article on it somewhere. Let's see. Okay. Been committed to Penn State since May. Yeah, you're right. Virginia Tech is in it. I apologize. So Virginia Tech is in it. So there you go. Yeah. So Piscataway is like a suburb close to the city. Got it. Thank you, Pepperface, too. interesting stuff there for sure. I mean, I'm definitely here for it. Let's go to break. We'll come right back and put a bow on this one. Thank you guys for joining in. We'll be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks. When it comes to Omaha Steaks, guys, the holidays always feel a little easier when you already know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to family and friends, Omaha Steaks delivers with handcrafted perfection right to their door. And this week is the best time to jump in after all, because their cyber sale is here and the deals are huge. They really are big time stuff. The variety is underrated. Steaks, burgers, comfort meals, sides, desserts. It's one of those gifts that truly fits anybody. And honestly, it's the kind of gift that brings people together. You don't need to guess anyone's size. So save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. For an additional $35 off, use the promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE, where the terms apply. See the site for details. All right. We're back, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, like I said. All right. Been a pretty good day. If you're a West Virginia fan, love the win. Feel like the basketball team got back on track today a little bit. They definitely are bringing along everybody as they add new guys to the roster. I feel like, Trey Eaglestaff is definitely coming on along a little bit finally, with a little bit less pressure on him. He's taking his shots within the rhythm of the offense. I just think it took him a while to get that figured out. And a 70-38 win is big. I don't care who it's against. So big ups to the team today. You didn't play anybody any more than 27 minutes, and that was Trayson Eaglestaff, who had eight rebounds and 9 points today. So, I mean, that's pretty damn good if you ask me. Amir Jenkins probably had the best game. One of the best games. 10 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals. He continues to grow into just potentially, if he gets better this offseason, which he will, he's got a chance to be one of the best point guards in the country. There's no doubt about it. So we're really excited about him, obviously. Chance Moore had a big day today. I think he was probably at times our best player today, but I have to give the big shout out to Jackson Fields, who texted me earlier this week and said he was excited about coming back. So that's all he said. I'm excited, but that's enough. I'm happy for him. And he looked good at times today. Nice little flick of the wrist on that turnaround jumper. Definitely good stuff there. So we'll see what happens. I think there's still a lot more to go with the West Virginia recruiting cycle, with the West Virginia portal cycle, and what have you. I'm hoping that they continue to build and build and build, and this ends up being one of the best classes we've ever had. I think we're all hoping for that. So let's keep in mind that, we'll have a couple guys committing over the next couple of days, and we'll try to cover that here. Thank you guys for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. And I'll talk to you in the next one. By the way, I appreciate y'all. Make sure you check out Locked On Big 12 next if you can, and we will definitely be watching for that. Until then, my name is Mountaineer Paul. Don't forget to cue those country roads. We're out.